Over 400,000 enemy soldiers lived right here on American soil. Most people have no idea this even happened. These weren't just holding cells, they were full communities, with theaters, orchestras, and even love stories that changed everything. But here's what makes your blood run cold. What happened inside changed some prisoners so deeply, they refused to go home. And what the government did with these camps after the war? Nobody saw that coming. Let me show you the 3 secrets they tried to bury. The luxury nobody expected. The love that broke all rules. The camps that vanished overnight. The secret nobody talks about. World War II. Everyone knows about the battles overseas. But something massive happened right here at home. Something they don't teach in schools. Over 400,000 enemy soldiers lived right here on American soil. German prisoners, Italian prisoners, even some Japanese. That's more than the population of Miami back then. The government built over 500 camps across America. Texas, Nebraska, Arizona. Every state had them. Your grandparents probably saw these camps, maybe even worked near one. But here's the weird part. Most of these prisoners didn't want to escape. Some didn't even want to go home when the war ended. And what happened inside these camps? It's so strange that the government kept it quiet for decades. The first secret starts with a train arriving in the Texas desert. What those prisoners saw when they stepped off changed everything they believed about America. The luxury nobody expected. Picture this. You're a German soldier. You've been told Americans are brutal. Your officers said you'll be tortured, maybe killed. The train stops. Guards open the doors. You step out expecting the worst. Instead, you see a swimming pool, a baseball field, clean barracks with real beds. This can't be real. But it was. Camp Concordia in Kansas had a full orchestra. Camp Hearn in Texas had a theater with velvet seats. Prisoners could take college classes, learn English, play soccer every afternoon. The food? Better than what American families ate with rationing. One German prisoner wrote home and said this, "I am living better here than I ever did in Germany." His family thought he was lying. They thought it was propaganda. But the real shock wasn't the luxury. It was what the government wanted these prisoners to learn and why they were treated so well. The U.S. government had a plan. A secret plan. They wanted to reprogram these prisoners, make them see democracy, make them like America. So when they went back to Germany, they'd rebuild it the American way. It was psychological warfare, just a different kind. Prisoners watched American movies every week, Disney films, Westerns. They saw freedom on screen. They ate hamburgers, drank Coca-Cola, played American sports. Some camps even had libraries with thousands of books, all in German. The guards were told to be firm but fair. Show them American values. Treat them like humans, not animals. And it worked. Too well, actually. By 1945, many prisoners didn't believe in Hitler anymore. They stopped saluting. They questioned everything they'd been taught. But this created a massive problem nobody saw coming, one that involved American women. The love that broke all rules. Camp fences were supposed to keep prisoners in, but they couldn't stop what happened next. Local women started showing up, farmers' daughters, small-town girls. They'd walk by the camps, make eye contact through the wire. Some brought cookies, others just smiled. The prisoners were young, handsome, lonely. So were the women. Their American boyfriends were overseas fighting. The towns were empty of young men. Love letters started getting passed through the fence. Guards tried to stop it. But love doesn't care about rules or wars. Secret meetings happened. Notes hidden in laundry. Whispers through barbed wire. One woman in Texas fell for a German officer. They met every Sunday for 6 months. Never touched, just talked. But when the war ended, something impossible happened. Prisoners were supposed to go home, back to destroyed Germany. Instead, thousands refused to leave American soil. 1946, war's over, time to send everyone home. But there's a problem. Hundreds of German POWs don't want to leave. They've fallen in love with American women, with American life. The government panics. This wasn't in the plan. You can't just let enemy soldiers stay. People would be furious. Families who lost sons overseas would riot. But these men refuse to board the ships. Some go into hiding. Others beg for special permission. A few even propose marriage right there at the camp gates. Desperate, crying, holding photos of their American girlfriends. The military doesn't know what to do. Meanwhile, the women fight back too. They write letters to Congress, to newspapers. These men aren't Nazis anymore. They've changed. They love America now. What the government decides next shocks everyone. But first, we need to talk about what was happening in the camps nobody saw.
The dark side nobody mentions. Not all camps were nice. Let me be clear about that. Some prisoners were hardcore Nazis, true believers. They terrorized other prisoners who liked America, beat them, sometimes killed them. Camp Concordia had murders. Prisoners strangling other prisoners at night. The German officers still ran things inside. They held secret trials, punished anyone who cooperated with Americans, called them traitors. One young prisoner loved jazz music, started playing with American guards. Other Germans hanged him in the barracks, made it look like suicide. The American guards knew, but they couldn't prove it. Some camps had underground Nazi groups. They kept Hitler's ideology alive, planned what they'd do when they returned to Germany. The U.S. government tried to separate the bad ones, but it was nearly impossible. They all looked the same in uniform. And this dark side? It made what happened to the camps after the war even more disturbing. The camps that vanished. 1946 turns into 1947. All the prisoners finally go home. The camps sit empty. Now what? America has 500-plus prison camps scattered everywhere. Giant facilities, thousands of buildings, miles of barbed wire. You can't just leave them there. So the government makes them disappear, fast, like erasing a mistake. Some get torn down completely, bulldozed, burned. Within months, they're gone, just empty fields. Others get sold off, cheap, real cheap. Farmers buy them, turn the barracks into storage, use the guard towers for grain silos. Camp Trinidad in Colorado becomes a farming supply store. But the strangest conversions, nobody expected these. Camp McCoy in Wisconsin becomes a college. Students sleep in the same bunks where German prisoners slept. They have no idea. But a few camps, they kept something behind, something buried, something the government didn't want found. Here's where it gets really weird. Some camps had tunnels, escape tunnels prisoners dug. Most were found, filled in, but not all of them. In 2003, a farmer in Oklahoma is plowing his field. His tractor falls through the ground. He climbs down, finds a tunnel, perfectly preserved. Maps still on the walls, German writing, tools left behind. Nobody knew it was there for 60 years. Other camps had hidden rooms, secret spaces where prisoners stashed things, weapons, diaries, photos, art they made. Construction crews find them by accident, decades later. One crew in Texas was demolishing an old warehouse, used to be a POW camp. They break through a wall, find a room full of paintings, hundreds of them. Beautiful artwork. Prisoners painted their families, their homes in Germany, their dreams. But the biggest secret, it wasn't underground. It was hiding in plain sight, in your town, right now. You've probably driven past one, maybe even lived near one. That old community center could have been a POW camp. That storage facility on the edge of town, maybe barracks. That weird empty lot with concrete foundations, camp remnants. They're everywhere, hidden in plain sight. Camp Florence in Arizona became a prison for American prisoners this time. Same buildings, same fences, just different inmates. Camp Aliceville in Alabama, a women's college now. Students have classes where guards once watched prisoners. Most places don't advertise their history. No plaques, no signs. They want people to forget. Why? Because America treated enemy soldiers better than Black American soldiers. Japanese Americans got put in camps too, with worse conditions. That's uncomfortable history. So they buried it, erased it. Let time erase the memory. But some things can't stay buried forever. And what happened to those prisoners who refused to leave? That story ends in the most unexpected way. The final revelation. Remember those prisoners who fell in love, who refused to leave? Some got to stay. Not many, but some. They married American women, changed their names, became American citizens. Today, their grandchildren live here. They don't even know their grandfather was a POW. The luxury camps? That reprogramming worked. Many prisoners went back to Germany as changed men. They helped rebuild it as a democracy. Some became politicians, teachers. They taught German kids about American values. The CIA even recruited some. And those camps that vanished? A few still exist. Barely. Camp Concordia has a museum now. Tiny. Only a few tourists visit each year. Most Americans drive right past without stopping. Here's the thing about history. We remember the big moments, the battles, the heroes, the victories. But we forget the weird stuff, the complicated stuff, the stuff that doesn't fit the story we want to tell. Over 400,000 enemy soldiers lived among us. Some fell in love here. Some died here. Some became Americans. And 99% of people have no idea it ever happened. Now you're part of the 1% who remembers. So that's the untold story of American POW camps during World War II. German prisoners of war living in the U.S., forgotten memories of labor, love, and luxury that nobody talks about. These W2 prisoner of war camp experiences shaped history in ways we never learned. Over 400,000 enemy soldiers, hundreds of camps, stories buried for decades. This is the hidden chapter of America's POW camps history that disappeared from textbooks. Only 1% remember what really happened inside these forgotten POW camps across the United States. Now you know the truth they tried to erase.